Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Johns, and this is Studio Talk. Now, just wait a minute. No, I came prepared for this video today. I came prepared. You can't necessarily see it, but I am wearing a flame retardant, bomb-proof suit on underneath all of this. It's my superpower today, because I know once some of you saw that title, you're ready to come in all guns blazing, flamethrowers attacking me right and left, saying, what does this idiot think he's saying? And I get it. Trust me, I get it. That said, here's the reality. I believe it. I do believe it. And I think for people like me, probably a lot of people like you, it's going to be an unfortunate event. But, I recently did a video on the Tonex, really not about the Tonex pedal as much as about people needing to understand how the profiling, capture process works compared to modeling. They work completely different. I think it's important for people to understand when they jump into that profiler / capturing type of workflow system or playing type system, that they understand some of the limitations and what you kind of have to accept when going down that road, because a lot of people want to talk about how the Tonex pedal sounds, and this video is not about the Tonex pedal, but I think it's an important thing to talk about the Tonex pedal sound. And the hardcore reality of it is a Tonex pedal makes no sound, absolutely none whatsoever. It's a player. That's what it does. It's a player, much like a DVD player, as an example, for those that are old enough to even remember what that is. Right, or a CD player. Excuse me. That DVD player is your experience watching whatever movie you watch is dependent upon the DVD you put in it. The quality of the cinematography, the quality of the writing, the quality of the acting, the quality of the story, all of those things come into play, right? Put a crappy movie in, you're going to have a crappy experience. Put a great, amazing movie in, and you're going to get an amazing experience. So it is with the Tonex pedal, as it is with all devices that are either profilers or capturing unit, when that's all they do. Modeling is completely different. Now that that's out of the way, like I said, this is not about the Tonex pedal, but it is about the type of devices that young players have today, within reach, right? And for the vast majority of people who are buying these great, amazing tube amps, and they are great and they are amazing, I love them, that are buying them for the most part, are old guys like me and my generation, maybe not as old as me, but a lot of young kids aren't looking at that. Young kids aren't going out and buying like Suhrs and Tom Andersons and Fender. Well, they're probably buying Fenders, but high-end Gibsons, Nags. I could go on and on and on about all the amazing, great guitar builders out there today, because it's really a great time. But they're super expensive, so you kind of got to be established to be able to afford something like that. You don't got to be rich. I'm not rich. But, I've acquired these things over decades, not just in a couple years. But anyway, we're the ones buying most of this stuff. Now, I think, the demand for hiring guitars, I don't think that's necessarily going to change. But I think guitar amps will, and I think the guitar amp manufacturers, I think they know this. And so your first question is obviously, Barry, why do you think that? So let me give you the logic behind it. If I was a young player today, coming up, considering everything I can get within an affordable option, whether it's the Tonex pedal, Helix HX Stomp, right? Those are two that just come into play. And then you've got some of the floor units from Fractal. Now you're starting to get more expensive. By the time you buy the full-blown systems, if you buy a full-blown Helix, a full-blown Kemper, a full-blown Axe FX3, a full-blown Quad Cortex, and the like of these things, right? If you buy where they're at their most expensive, you're at the entry-level price point of a high-end, for not a high-end, but a quality tube amp. You're at the beginning stages of that, right? And so And they have everything that they need in those. Everything, not just guitar amps and things like that. So I don't think that a young generation, whether or not that's a limited quantity of people today because of people's feelings about the lack of, I guess, popular demanded guitar-oriented or musical instrument-oriented music is not in the mainstream of music today. It's out there. It can be found. But, coming up people in my generation and younger, if you went through the 90s and 2000s and 2010s and today, the majority of the music that you grew up on was that type, seeing bands live playing, and it wasn't all the virtual instruments that you hear today. Nothing wrong with the virtual instruments. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with music today. It's just more of an observation, okay? And so if I'm a young player coming up right now, I don't know what I don't know. I get used to hearing what I get used to hearing, just like people like me got used to hearing the distinction and the difference in the experience of playing a really solid, good quality tube amp versus an entry-level cheap tube amp or versus those things. Once you get that kind of taste, if you know, you know. Oh gosh, now I'm getting cheesy. But that's just that. And do I believe that tube amps are worth their price? Yeah, I do. I do. But considering if I was starting all over today, it wouldn't even be on my radar. It wouldn't be a consideration, especially now, for goodness sakes, especially now that Tonex Pedal has come out. Because that's put all of this profiling and capturing in the hands of affordability for anybody. It's priced in the same way of a high-end quality boutique guitar pedal, And so, like I said, it's a player. So, there's going to be tons of people that are going to be going out and making some killer profiles of all these tube amps that you and me and old farts like us, absolutely love and appreciate, and why we appreciate them. They're going to be making profiles or captures of those, just like they have been for the Kemper, right? Michael Britt, I'm sure he's already at work hard and heavy on it. Tone Junkie, I'm sure he's already knocking it out, trying to get out there. He's probably already got some out. And because he's a younger guy and he gets it. And so, so when you look at all these things, it's just inevitable that guitar amp manufacturers are not going to be selling them at the volume they need to run a profitable business. That's just going to die out. It's going to happen slowly. Is this going to happen tomorrow? No. Is this going to happen the next 5 years? No. Within 10 years, we're definitely going to start to see it have an impact in 10 years, right? Because let's face it, in 20 years, I'm not likely to be around anymore, people like me. So there's nobody buying those things, right? And the younger generation is coming, and they just adjusted their ears because let's face it, there are a lot of amazing modelers out there and a lot of amazing profilers / captures, right? I mentioned some of them before. You got the Line 6 Helix, awesome. The Fractal Axe Effects 3, awesome, unfreaking believable, best effects on any device, period, hands down, right? You've got the Quad Cortex playing the best of both worlds, where you get a modeler and you get a profiler / capture all in one unit, so you can enjoy it all. You've got the Kemper, which has been out for a very long time, right? But it's getting long in the tooth, man. They've really not done anything, and I think that's where the guy who runs Kemper made a huge mistake. He should have been the first one to come out with what the Tonex Pedal is doing, but he thought it would cannibalize its business, and he's right. It would cannibalize his sales, but you know what that Tonex Pedal's going to do? Over time, it's going to cannibalize the living daylights out of Kemper. Run them out of business? I don't know, but it's certainly going to eat into it. If somebody's asking me today, should I buy a Kemper or a Tonex? I'm like, Tonex, baby. Don't even look at that Kemper. No freaking way. Okay, because you get exactly what that Kemper can do for you, and in that less than $500 pedal for what that Kemper is going to do you for over $1,500 plus, right? And so anybody with common sense is going to realize that. Yes, I know there's a lot of diehard Kemper users. I say, no, there's no way. my Kemper's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it is. I got one right there. Right there. I got one. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay? But Tonex Pedal's on the way, baby. Tonex Pedal's on the way. And you say, well, Barry, how can you buy a pedal without hearing it and talk about it? It's so great. Because it's not a pedal. What is a pedal? It's a player, like the DVD player. Remember? It's like the DVD player. It's only as good as the profile you put in it, which was the whole message of that other video that some people didn't seem to understand. And that's because they don't have any experience with this stuff. Give them 6 months with a Tonex pedal, and they'll say, okay, now I get what that guy's saying, all right? So, the reality is just like everything else, right? Back in the early 90s, I remember buying a computer for $3,500, right? My phone today is 100 times more powerful than that computer. Today, look at what you can buy for $3,500 computer-wise. I mean, you can buy a smoking computer. But the hardcore reality is the vast majority of people don't buy computers anymore. They just don't. They don't need them. It's only if you have a specialized need. You work in Photoshop, you do video editing like I do, but not at the professional level, obviously. You do DAW work. You do things where what you do requires that kind of thing. But it's just a matter of time before that goes by the wayside, okay? That's just a matter of time where nobody's going to need a computer ever again, right? This is the way of things, right? Because when you can get amazing, powerful tools that can not hold you back with anything, and it's incredibly affordable, why in the world would anybody choose to go that other route, right? There are still some limitations out there today that kind of put you in a situation that almost require you to have an amp. If you're playing in a live situation, right, and, you're not on tour, you're not playing in some big arena or something like that, or even, high-end club, in-ear monitors have become very affordable today, but you've got to be able to mix all that together, and to rely on the guy running the sound at that particular place and get it right is slim to none. And most guitar players, they don't like, monitoring their guitar tone through a typical monitor wedge on the floor. Most people don't like it. I never did, right? A little bit of balance across the stage to kind of blend it back in, but that's someone else's tone typically, not yours. And there's so many benefits to doing in-ear monitor and not having all that volume on stage. You can get such a better mix overall for any venue that way. So anyway, they've still got to come. They've got to solve that problem, make that easier, where it's super, super, super duper easy to be able to do that, whether the guy running the house sound can split his signal and you send it up and you pull it up on your iPad. You do the in-ear monitor mix on there, no problem. You can, of course, do that now if that's your digital mixer over there. But if it belongs to someone else and it's not a brand you're familiar with, that whole technology's got to be able to adapt itself, and it will. It will over time. And so then that need will be completely gone. Completely gone. There won't be any need for it anymore. So, think about that because, again, it's all about dinero, baby, okay? It's all about the money and what you can get for that money, right? And so today is a great time for guitarists. Even though there may be fewer of us today, today is a great time because the tools that you've got to be able to create great music at any volume in any situation and have it be something you're proud of playing for other people, we're there. We are there, and it's only going to get better, right? It's only going to get better. So put some comments down below. Tell me what you think, If you agree with me, tell me why. If you disagree with me, tell me why. Just be respectful. You don't got to be a jerk getting your point across. You can convey it in a way, and, that's, hey, I disagree, and here's why. And, that's the way us adults have conversations, So be an adult. But also, if you like the videos that I do, okay, do me a favor, like, subscribe, notify, all that crap you hear in all these videos and stuff like that. But most importantly, subscribe, right? Help me grow the channel. I'll work hard for you folks, and hopefully I bring value to you or at least bring you things that are interesting to consider, interesting to think about, as well as things to put in application to make your journey on all of this path a better one, okay? I don't know everything, but there's one thing I guarantee you're going to get from me. I'm going to share with you what I've learned, okay? And you can decide to accept it or not, right? But until next time, I hope every one of you have a great day. Bye-bye. Super scratchy today, man. Stupid voice just drives me nuts. I do a lot of woodworking. I got a side gig that I do, and, So I do a lot of that. I converted my 3-car garage to a full-blown carpenter shop. And I'm actually going to turn that into a YouTube channel here pretty soon because I'm going to start selling the products. But anyway, I'm around sawdust all the time. And so when I make these videos, it gets hard because I get that scratchy throat thing kind of going on. But anyway, stay tuned for that because I'm going to ask for your help in that. All right, now we got the order. We get back to the